Hello everybody, welcome back to Growing in the Cove. Today I wanted to go over a technique that I use every year for seed starting that requires basically stuff that you probably have around your own house, and that is the winter sowing method. So basically the way that this works is that you upcycle old containers, juice bottles, lettuce and spinach trays, milk jugs, any sort of clear or semi-transparent container, and make it into a little greenhouse, which we will then put outside in the snow as it is right now, and leave it until spring to do its magic and germinate on its own. So the cool thing about this method is that the transplants and the little seedlings that you get are super hardy. Because they have germinated in such harsh cold conditions, it actually makes for very strong plants, which you can then transplant into your garden before your first frost date, well before your first frost date. So instead of having to really coddle plants like we would with anything we grew indoors under grow lights, and you would have to harden them off, these are good to go directly into the garden, and you don't have to wait or give them much attention at all. So I wanted to review a few things that I have had success with winter sowing personally. I haven't had such great luck doing this with vegetables, although you can Google and there are extensive lists online of things that you can winter sow. And every year I do a few things as trial and error, and they don't always work out, but I've had a lot of luck with cool season annuals as well as perennials. So here is just a short list of some things that you can winter sow, although there is so much more, and there's a lot of information online about this. So some examples: bachelor's buttons, larkspurs, pansies, really good method for pansies, poppies, coneflowers, calendula, snapdragons, foxgloves. This is a great way to start a lot of foxgloves, especially if you use a lot of seed. They'll probably all germinate. Sweet alyssum, great companion plant for your vegetable garden or to put in pots. Black-eyed Susan or Rudbeckia, coneflowers, Shasta daisies. And in terms of vegetables that I would recommend, you can do things like lettuce. I love doing green onions. I've also had success doing kale. Some people will do other brassicas like cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, but I can't speak to that. So I'm going to show you how we winter sow. It is super easy, and I love it because it's a way to upcycle things that you already have around your house, and it's a hands-off approach to growing plants, and it works. So follow along if you want to see the winter sowing technique. First of all, you're going to want a clear container. I've used mostly juice bottles. I do find that they tend to hold the moisture and not dry out as quick as something like a spinach tray, but you can kind of get creative here. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to use juice bottles because that's my preferred method. So I'm reusing all of my bottles from last year to save myself the trouble of having to do this all over again. What you want to do is make sure you have drainage holes in the bottom of your bottle. I have 4 drainage holes here. I used a drill. You could also use a hot nail. You could use scissors, but be careful with that. Also, remove the lid off of your bottle. If your container does not already have a top like this or a spout, then you're going to want to put holes in the top as well. So any precipitation that's falling outside will go into your little greenhouse. Also, you want to cut almost all the way around to your bottle, but leave a little piece connected so you create a little hinge and the bottle can open and close. Beyond this, you're going to need some sort of plant marker to put in here so you will remember what it is you planted, and some duct tape and any kind of potting soil. That is all the materials you need. Anybody can do this method. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to get my bottles filled up with soil and show you how I'm going to plant my seeds. I've already pre-filled each container with at least a couple of inches of soil, probably at least 4 inches in this one, just to make my life easier. I've also pre-made all of my labels. I like to use these plastic labels, and I always like to write them in pencil because for whatever reason, if this gets rained on, snowed on, or whatever, I don't find that pencil wears off. Whereas a permanent marker using Sharpie or whatever, I find they always wear off and then I don't know what's in them. Also, I can erase the pencil off of these and reuse them. So it's just a great way to use your labels. So I've done my labels in advance as well. And I'm going to show you everything that I'm going to be sowing today. I'm doing 8 bottles. These are self-collected seeds of Agrostemma ocean pearls, also known as corn cockle. This is my trial this year, and this is a very hard one to grow. This is the Himalayan blue poppy. I'm going to save half the seeds to try to grow in my greenhouse, and the other half I'm going to try via winter sowing. But these are very temperamental, and it even has on here for experienced gardeners only. So a little terrifying, but I'm going to try. I have a double Scarlet Peony poppy. I have Ammi, also known as Queen Anne's lace. I have another similar flower, which is called the chocolate lace flower, also known as Dara, and it is beautiful. I grew it via this method last year. I also have tall purple top Verbena. This was one of my favorite things in my garden 2 years ago, and I really missed it last year. And it's a great way to start a bunch in just a little jug. And I also have another poppy, the double Delusion pink poppy. I'm going to start with the poppy seeds. Poppy seeds are always super, super tiny and usually will come in a smaller envelope like this. But for poppy seeds, they do not need to be covered by soil. So whatever it says on your seed package, replicate the same thing in your containers. So for these poppy seeds, which you can see are very, very tiny, I'm going to take them and I'm literally just going to willy-nilly sprinkle them over the top of the soil. Poppy seeds need light to germinate. A lot of people just grow these in their garden by sprinkling them in the soil. I never have luck with that, so that's why I use this method. So poppy seeds are in. Make sure to include your plant tags so you know what it is come spring. Close up your container, and then I'm going to get my duct tape to seal it up. You can also use clear masking tape. And that is winter sowing poppies. Let's do another one. So I have another one here. This one is a pop bottle. Okay, so next I'm going to do my chocolate lace flower. Now this one is a little bit different because if I read the back of the seed pack, it says to plant it 1/4 inch deep. So I will do that in this container. If I didn't mention already, I have pre-moistened the soil in here. I wouldn't put dry soil in. Definitely make sure it's damp. So you don't need to use a whole lot of seeds, but here are my chocolate lace flower seeds, and I'm just going to sprinkle them over. I think that's enough. So it looks, I'm not sure if you can see those seeds there. And then I'm going to get my soil and sprinkle over just a little tiny bit to give me about 1/4 inch of soil over all the seeds. I'll tamp it down. put in my seed tag, my plant tag, and duct tape. So I think you get the point, and I'm going to continue and finish off these containers. Now that my containers are all done, the only thing left to do is to park them for the rest of winter. I like to park mine in one of my raised beds because it's somewhere where it's not likely to get walked on, and I can keep an eye on it once the spring comes. And that is winter sowing. I can't think of a better activity to do on a snow day or here in the dead of January when there's really not a whole lot we can do yet here in Newfoundland in terms of gardening. And that is winter sowing. Let me know if you have any questions or if you yourself have winter sowed. Thank you for watching, and until next time, bye.